We are live. Wait, John, where did your face go? Oh, there it is.
Here.
Yay, hi. And hi, everybody that's joining us on this Friday afternoon. You absolute heroes for giving us some of your time on Friday. Although I think it's going to be worth it because I think that John and I are very funny. And this is going to be an hour full of giggles at very bad sales emails. So for folks that maybe follow John and have followed him here and are wondering who the heck I am, my name is Leslie, and I am the person that is constantly in the comments of John's bad sales email post, just ranting and raving, just angry typing on my computer about how unhinged some of these sellers are. But my day job is working with organizations for top of funnel excellence. And so one of the things I do is help folks write sales messaging that isn't all like I, my, we, our, blah, blah. And instead it says something that the buyer gives a heck about and actually wants to read. And I'm joined by John Roman. We were saying before we went live that this is the first time we've actually spoken that wasn't like a voice note or a WhatsApp or in LinkedIn. It's a hard launch on our friendship.
No, it really is, but it's so odd that this is the first time we've done video together, but I feel like I know you, which is scary times we live in, how that was accomplished via WhatsApp and LinkedIn.
It's amazing. Yes, we are proof that LinkedIn friendships are real friendships.
Absolutely. And I see one of the people in Brock. That's another LinkedIn friendship I have. I've never we know each other via LinkedIn.
I love it. Tell the people who you are, because we, despite having this common interest, we operate in quite different orbits.
Yeah, no, it's a fair point. So my name is John Roman. I work for a company called BattlBox, which is a direct-to-consumer brand, outdoor adventure gear, very content community driven. So a lot of what I do talk about on LinkedIn is around that. TikTok's our largest channel, YouTube's our second largest channel. I hate when the camera flips it. The little YouTube silver plaque right there, hopefully getting gold this year. We've been so close to 1 million on there for a while, but yeah, direct to consumer, completely different world. But in my previous life, previous career, before I stumbled into direct to consumer, I built, managed, ran sales teams. So started off just carrying a bag as an individual contributor. My previous life before that, I played poker professionally. So before I hung that hat up, I joined the corporate sales world. I was about 5 years older than everyone else, which is an interesting challenge, right? Getting an entry level, typical post college, bottom of the barrel sales role, but I'm 26 and everyone else is 21. So I had that 5 years of knowledge, and it allowed me to get a little lucky at times and quickly go from carrying a bag to managing a small team, to managing a larger team, to managing multiple teams, to managing sales orgs. So
and now a whole dang company.
What's that?
And now managing a whole dang company.
Yeah, and to be fair, I have this soft spot that I always have for when I get a sales email, because it was me for so long, both doing it and then coaching on how to do it better. So I want to give everyone a benefit of the doubt when I get that email. But the reality is 20, 30 emails a day, it's not possible. I can't respond to everybody like I want to or I used to. So I just publicly shame them. Not really. But the reality is I redact the names, and I try to say, hey, this doesn't work because this, in hopes that someone else will see it and be like, oh, I shouldn't lead with that. And at least get the critical thinking rolling that you can send good emails, and even good emails can scale.
Yeah. Yes. I love it. I think this will be an especially fun / valuable session because both of us have been individual contributors, like we've carried the bag, we've sent the messages, we've both been sales leaders, so we've been responsible for enabling the team to create outbound processes. And now we both own our own companies and get an incredible amount of inbound and are, on the other side of the, I mean, I also got like 400 emails a day as a sales leader, but like the perspective shift that happens when you go from being the seller that sends the emails to then suddenly you start getting sales emails is a pretty dramatic one. But let's jump right in. We have quite a few people that have already joined us here. So let me share this awesome
and host of awesome podcast. So
yes,
it's another place. Jimmy.
That is right. Well, and I watched the it was on YouTube, right? Yeah, I watched the YouTube series.
Yeah, so we've had the most success there. So we launched in June, but I think we're almost a year. I think we have 27,000 followers on there, so subscribers. So hopefully another silver plaque for that one soon.
That is awesome. That's when, I really knew we were friends because I'm like watching it and I'm sending you screenshots and I was like, John, did you know I have a hatchet collection? And you were like, no, Leslie, I did not know that you had.
That was like the first bonding moment. It was like, oh, you guys actually, wow.
We love hatchets and sales emails.
Yeah. Perfect.
Oh my gosh. Okay, folks, we are jumping right in here. So I have to say, it doesn't really highlight it in this one, but like, look at how many impressions I'm getting on my comments is the first thing I noticed. Like on this second email, there were a couple of them where I noticed that my comments had like 10,000 impressions, like more impressions than many of my posts get. So I was like, oh, wow, I really got to make commenting on John's post part of my my growth strategy here.
So what's wild is, so I don't have even close to as many followers as you do on LinkedIn. I think I have maybe only 8,500 or so. So my average post gets somewhere in the 1,000 to 3,000 impressions. That's probably my baseline. But when I do these bad sales emails, they consistently get over 100,000. Some get 500,000, 600,000. And it's wild. And in the engagement, if you see, you have all those impressions, but you look at the total engagement on the post, it's not very high either, right? Like best case scenario, 500, 600 likes. But the reality is because everyone's reading it. They're not necessarily engaging, but everyone wants to read and know about, how to do better sales emails.
I totally agree. And now if they would just take the advice and actually do it.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's jump in. I made a joke in this comment about the like quick question, quick favor subject line.
Yeah.
Because few things annoy me more than quick question subject lines. And I have to give the caveat that like one of my biggest beefs with like the sales gurus on LinkedIn, on Instagram, on YouTube, whatever, is that they often teach like tricks and tactics over like techniques and skills. And quick question was the tactic a few years ago. And I've seen this cycle so many times that something worked. They shared it with more people. It worked for maybe their colleagues as well. And so they started just saying like, this is the way, this is the hack, steal this hack to increase your reply rates 33%. And so then everybody started using quick question. And the moment everybody starts using something, our buyers realize that it is a sales email, like it starts like putting those mental spam filters off and it stops working. And so my beef with quick question isn't like whether or not quick question is the best or worst subject line ever. It's just that anytime you're trying to chase those tactics or tricks, it's going to have pretty diminishing result. And the fact that people still use quick question drives me nuts because it's never a quick question.
Right. So it's interesting, and there's another one with certainty that immediately, based on what you said, I know is later in this. But you're right, it's a tactic that used to work. But when everybody starts doing it, it loses its allure. It's not going to work anymore. And it's wild to me that people think that they should use something that was effective 5 years ago or even longer, because that's just I don't want to say laziness, but because you do have the experts on Instagram telling you still to do it. Yeah, I'm obviously on the same page as you.
Drives me nuts. I also, this is such a minor gripe with this one, but I hate the like, have you considered using UGC to drive more sales question for a brand that is like coming up on 1 million on YouTube, has surpassed 1 million on TikTok, the home of UGC, who literally has this entire series where you are taking real customers,
right,
and like, you know, giving them your products and putting them out there. Like, so much of the content being created around your brand that isn't native content is folks that get BattlBox and are using it and are showing, like, it would have been a 2-second Google search.
But so okay, so the counter argument here that I think I even got maybe in one of the comments here was like, well, you know, I'm not spending the 2 minutes doing research. I'm trying to you know, our product's a low AOV, low LTV, like I'm just trying to get the responses. So I could see I could see both arguments, right? But even if I'm gonna concede and say, okay, I get it, you're not doing any research, your model doesn't support research, which there's the smaller end sales solutions that don't, I get it. But then even worse, this isn't 2015. This isn't like, oh wow, oh no, I haven't ever thought about using UGC. Like, this is so outside the box. No, like, this is 2025. Like, it's clown behavior. You're taking, like, have you ever thought about, you know, selling compact discs? Like, what are you doing? It's
UGC.
Yeah, what is that? I'm gonna Google what that stands for. So I think it's a combination, right? Like, personally, I think spend the 2 minutes. Spend the 2 minutes or 5, do some research if you can, if your product supports actually trying to make a personalized email, but then it comboed it with, you know, something that might have been a nuance 10 years ago, but it's not now. There's not a single D2C brand that they're targeting that doesn't understand the value of UGC. So it just comes across kind of tone deaf.
I agree. And I would even go one step further, that if you are a rep and you are selling in a like really low ACV, very transactional space, this is just simply not the right trigger for you to use. Like, saying that like the UGC is not right, and you could easily pivot it to something like, hey, I'm going to create a sequence that only goes out to folks with really large YouTube followings. That's something you can easily scrape, right? That's an easy filter to put in. And then it can be something that's like, when brands have YouTube followings over 500,000, if they are able to do X or Y to increase the UGC content, we find they grow their YouTube following, you know, 13% faster than they would otherwise. Worth learning more. So like, you can use, like, if that's what you sell, you can use some of that same language and just change the focus of it to make it relevant to everybody without actually having to do research.
And with that approach, which, like, you're right, that data is there to scrape, and that data is there to put into your automation. That instantly takes the guard down, because to the majority of buyers, when they see that, they're like, oh, okay, this person's done some iota, some little bit of research. I'm in their ICP, I'm in their target because they know that I have over 500,000 followers. So it just changes my perception immediately when I get that email.
Totally. I completely agree. Okay, let's see what we have next. We have a lot of these. We have a lot of these to get through. Immediately, I think I'm going to delete this because why would I read so many words from a stranger?
Yeah, a lot.
It is so many words from a stranger. And I will share like my rule that I give people that is super, super easy to remember is 110-100. One clear, concise call to action, optimize for the first 10 words, because that's your preview text. That's like what gets people to see more.
Yeah.
And then 100 words or less. And right here, we can just see that they followed none of those rules.
Yeah. So, I know people are very polarized on what I'm about to say, but because of AI, I get PTSD when I see the M dashes.
Oh my God.
Now, I previously have used M dashes before.
No, but never. You can never use another M dash again.
Because
the term game changer. It's just gone. It's gone from the lexicon.
Yeah, stop using M dashes because the only people that are going to use M dashes now are AI.
Yeah.
And you see it here, and first of all, I'm likely not making it that far before marking this as spam. But if I did, it just you lose your credibility at that point.
100%. So the data tells us, and this is a big misconception that sellers have, is that they think that the recipient, the buyer, is reading their email. They are scanning the email. Correct. And so when you think about scanning an email like this, do it, folks that are on the call with us, like a quick scan, you're seeing like a bunch of random numbers, and then you're seeing the M dash, and like, I'm out. Yeah. And there's no clear call to action, which I would skip to the bottom to see what the clear call to action is, but there isn't one. So like, it's just an immediate delete for me. And I put a sample in look at that, 4,600 impressions, better than how most of my posts. So I put a sample of like how easy it is to pivot an email like this into an email, or pivot copy like this into an email that like says the same things.
Yeah, just so much quicker. I'm actually going to be able to read that, scan and read, as opposed to scanning and seeing numbers and confused, and they're not Birchbox, and there's an M dash, and I'm done.
Because there were some things that I really liked about this email. Like I love a like company times company subject line. They still work. It's one that's just like, it's kind of a mainstay. And if we think about the fact that we should write all of our sales messaging and sequences across multiple channels, using that for one email, it's a pretty safe subject line to throw into an email. Like, I love that they had some social proof in there with the Birchbox, with the Saddle Hunter. They shared a bit of an insight in there. Yeah. It took them 3 sentences to do it, and we redid it here in the biggest culprit, not having the right carrier discounts in place. But I thought this was a really perfect example of somebody trying, like they're trying to do the things that they are being told to do. Yeah. And just not getting it right.
No, I think that's a fair call. So something else that, the majority of people would not catch, but your ICP would likely catch. So yeah, I'm not opposed to the BattlBox, ex Birchbox. The problem is Birchbox 2015 to 2017. Yeah, they were in the subscription space. They were the golden child, $1 billion valuation. They went through a bankruptcy.
Oh,
they went bankrupt. They failed. Now I know the people that bought them out of bankruptcy. So most people don't know the people that bought them out of bankruptcy, but most everyone knows that they went bankrupt. That's in our D2C subscription space, because they were the golden child, then went away. So I don't know if AI told them to use Birchbox. Obviously, it's one of their clients. Before or after bankruptcy, it's a whole can of worms they opened up with that unintentionally. Maybe do BattlBox and X Sadie Hunter.
Okay, but that's insane, because if Birchbox is one of their customers, then wouldn't they know?
I don't know. It was even more maddening is Like what Birchbox after the people I know bought them out of bankruptcy, or when did you help them? It's just it's another weird variable in this that's just like, what?
That's wild.
Yeah. And most everyone in the direct to consumer subscription space know about the fall of the golden one.
Yeah.
$1 million valuation of bankrupt.
They like completely tarnished their credibility.
Yeah.
Immediately.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so weird.
Yeah. It's a super, this one's bizarre just because most people don't know that, but the majority of the people that they're reaching out to do. So this is not going to perform well.
And that like doesn't even require account or contact specific research. Yeah. That is just like sense checking with anybody that's worked in the organization.
Correct. Yeah, wow. That's a funky one.
Yeah. Okay, that's very weird. Okay, let's see what we have next. Oh, I remember this one when I first read it.
Yeah.
Because you liked it, right? Oh,
I responded to it.
Yeah. And I was like, ew, gross.
Yeah.
But like earlier we were talking about what the ACV is. And I think this is on the opposite side of the ACV that I'm like, totally, John, I get your point. Like it's pretty cool that they took so much time.
Yeah. But very, very, very high contract value.
Like what? This is not scalable. So no. if their ACV is not at least 50K, right, which based on sort of what it seems like they're selling, I don't think it is.
It might be getting.
It could be.
Yeah, it could be. It could be in that range.
So then maybe. So what for people that do not read minds / speak this deep cut language, what I'm trying to communicate is that this sort of hyper personalized approach is a terrible, terrible strategy for most sellers because very few sellers sell a product that has an annualized contract value that is high enough to justify this level of effort for every single email.
It's not scalable.
Yes, it is not scalable. And one of my biggest beefs, and I think this seller actually did okay, but one of my biggest beefs with hyper personalized emails, and I'm using air quotes just in case people are watching or listening and not watching, is that it will be like, hi, I watched your show on Southern Survival. Anyways, would you like to buy my widget? And it's just like, wait, what? Like that's whiplash. What just happened?
Right. I think we might even have one of those later.
Do we have one in here?
Possibly. It's like, oh, I really want to buy this. So by the way, I need you to set an appointment with me, please.
Yeah. So by the way, I do love a PS though. Like there were a lot of things that I loved about this one. I love Worth a Chat as a, I'm just clicking around. I love Worth a Chat as a call to action. I love a PS. There were some good things about this one.
But also to the point, it is a little long.
It's a bit long.
Yeah.
It's a bit long. Although I will say, with really good hyper personalization,
you're allowed
to go a bit longer because like I think about everything in like my earn the right philosophy or earn the right context. So it's like, have I earned the right to ask for their attention?
And they have at this point.
Right. And so generally I would say like you have to be super, super relevant to earn the right. But in this context, like they really, like it was really cute. And they did some,
and he makes fun of kind of what we were talking about of that. I watched Southern Survival, buy my stuff. He's like, I watched it and clearly thought I should email you, which is like, he's making fun of himself, which is great.
Yeah.
About a LinkedIn sales post. So like he's hit on two different things. So then I read the rest of the email.
Yeah. Yeah. He earned the right to ask you to read a few more sentences.
But not scalable for most.
Yeah. That sales emailer, run. Get it, Britt. You killed it. You killed it on that one, bud. Okay. What do we have next? This was you're tagging me in posts at this point. Look at us. The two best friends anybody could have on LinkedIn.
This one was I think this goes back. So it wasn't the one I was thinking of, but it goes back to, taking things that used to work or taking and trying to scale things that might not. It's the fake custom video.
Big time.
It's just, you can get me on a real video if you made it, but then you have the people with the fake custom video. And at that point, like if I've actually given you the time to then click in and listen, because I think you actually spent time and earned the right with making an actual video, and then it's fake custom. Like I'm upset. I want to fight you at this point. Even I don't know you. I'm definitely not gonna make time for you.
I think that's a lot of the problem with that like disingenuous or fake hyper personalization. Like, oh, I admire your work, or I spent all this time doing this. And so our kind of first reaction of people is thinking, oh, like that's really nice. Like I'm feeling a little bit flattered that they follow my work or that they
Yeah.
have made this video for me. And then the next immediate reaction is, oh, they tricked me.
Yeah. I literally felt like they pulled the wool over my eyes, and it wasn't a good feeling.
And if anybody thinks that starting a sales relationship, which if it is not built in a deep foundation of trust, it's just not going to go anywhere. If you think that the way to start those relationships is by tricking somebody into engagement,
yeah,
think again. Yeah, but I mean, to your point, like this does show how fast that trends move, because these types of videos where somebody's talking while it's just scrolling your website, but it has nothing to do with like your website and it's not personalized at all. Those were the rage 4 years ago. I mean, they blew people's minds.
Yeah.
And we also have the as so many have pointed out, the infamous like, I hope you're doing well start.
Yeah, I think someone called it out in the chat when we were starting.
It's so bad.
Yeah.
And I think so, like I do that, like the 110 100 rule, and 10 is the first 10 words of your text. And so for this one, if we think about it, including the subject line, it's question for John. Hey, John, I hope you're doing well.
That's it. You're out of it.
You think a stranger that you're sending an email to is going to click open after that? Like, absolutely not.
I have trouble, and I try to stop myself from doing it from people I do know, because it's just like, just seems robotic. I mean, I do hope they do well, but I feel like it's overused.
Yeah.
Anything.
I start my messages with hi and then like 4 exclamation points.
That's good though. That works.
It's very authentic. People definitely know it's coming from me, or just the little wavy hand. Yeah, overused techniques.
So this is a good one, because I don't think we agreed on this one.
Oh, I love it. Oh yes, I even said very unpopular opinion, but I don't hate this one.
Okay.
So let me remember why I don't hate this one. Well, it's technically it is written very well.
Okay.
And so if we were going to use one of the like learning models that gauges respondability just on the technical aspects,
sure,
it's pretty high. It is short. It's pretty simple words, pretty short, simple sentences. If we look at the like I, my, we, our ratio to you ratio, that's pretty good. One super clear, concise CTA. So if we look at it from purely a technical lens, it's a pretty solid email. Why did you like it?
So I mean, I think you nailed it. I think you nailed it with the why, on why it missed, and it was the generalized, moderated by expert CEOs. Like, it's just a say who it is. Maybe that will help me. Like, in today's day and age, everyone's a CEO, right? Like it's one of those overkill words, almost like entrepreneur. Like it's lost its luster because everyone is one now.
What was that a hint at your most recent newsletter? Was it your newsletter? Where did you just shit all over entrepreneur phrase recently?
I did. Yeah, I shit on it was this week, I think.
Yeah, I clock you. I follow your content.
Yeah, I don't know. It bothered me. It's the same. Yeah, it's the same group of the sales experts on Instagram that are telling you
to do
X, Y. every single one of them is to let you know that they're the CEO of insert their Ponzi.
It's so gross. I went to an event, it's like 3 years ago now, and I was like 6 months into being a full-time founder, and it was a CEO event, like a CEO summit, and I was so nervous going to it because I was very new, and I also wasn't running like a SaaS organization, like I run a service-based business, and I'm intentionally a solopreneur, and I showed up to find out that half of the attendees were CEOs, not even of a company, not even of a product. It wasn't like they just like were pre-revenue or pre-product market fit. They were CEOs of like ideas. CEOs of ideas. Like they didn't have an MVP, they didn't have PMF, they didn't have revenue. And like by this point, I had already like crossed 6 figures in revenue as a brand new founder. And it was just this moment of being like, oh, everybody out here really just calling themselves a founder and a CEO, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, because it's cool.
You're the CEO of an idea, Chet. Like, get it together. Take a seat.
Damn it, Chet.
Damn it, Chet.
Chet, go back home. Mom will make you a hot pocket and hear about how you're
pretty much. Take a seat. TikTok related, I use the word, like I use the name Chet all the time, and like the skits that I do on TikTok being funny. And that I have a friend on TikTok, but his handle is the sales doctor. And I did not know what his first name was. And I was making all of this content for months being like, sit down, Chet, blah, blah, blah. And he DM'd me one day and was like, did I do something wrong?
His name was Chet. Oh my gosh.
And I was like, oh God, I'll try like a new name. I'm so sorry. Like, no, I actually think you're delightful and love your content. I just didn't think I knew anybody named Chet, so it felt safe.
I was gonna say, I don't think I know any Chets.
No, I moved on to Travis. Now I use Travis a lot because I don't know anybody named Travis.
All right. So next
apologies to any Travises out there. Okay, this one's like insanely small, but the way it
let's see.
The way it panned out was crazy.
Okay, so this is
the fake forward one.
Yeah, which is one of the things that used to work. And it's so abused now. And then like if you're gonna start back to your other point, like if you're gonna start this relationship off with a lie, it's probably not the right approach. But I think you can still pull this off if done right. You can't make any mistakes. You can't have inconsistency with timestamps and fake names, and like it's got to be completely BS smell proof.
Yeah.
And if you don't, then it's just, I don't think you have a shot. I don't know. Do you think this is fake? What's your take on the fake forwards? Do you think it's still has a place or not?
No, I think it's super gross. It's super gross. But I will say that there is a way to do this type of strategy, but not have it be sitting on a foundation of lies and manipulation. And it is to have the executive actually send the email. And so like I've done this, like I did this when I was selling to chief procurement officers, but I've done it for CPOs, CTOs, like I've done it for a lot of enterprise C-suite titles, and it does work. You as the rep can write the email so that you're not asking whatever EL team member you're going to have send the email to do the extra lift. And then I had, like at my last company, I had the chief product officer send some for me. And I also had the CEO send some for me. And so like, let's do the chief product officer would send ones, but it was really specific. Like you just released your most recent CSR ambitions and you want to increase supplier spend by 8%. I just published a case study with Heineken who increased their spend with diverse suppliers by 4% to 7% over the course of 18 months. And I wanted to share it with you.
Yeah. So hyper boom.
And hyper relevant, hyper personalized. And then you put the rep in CC. And so then the rep replies 2 days later about that same hyper relevant outreach and to say, hey, like I'm available to ask to answer any questions that you might have about like how Heineken was it. I'm just throwing Heineken out there. That was not the company, but like how Heineken accomplished this. And then you can also follow up with a phone call about the email from my chief product officer. So there is a way to incorporate this as a touch in the sequence, like a first touch in the sequence, hyper-personalized email, from the member of your ELT with you as the rep in CC, and then you own the rest of the sequence from there. And it's not a fake forward, but like the chief product officer didn't take the time to do the research and send the email. But to me, because you are sharing value, because you're doing the research, because it is hyper personalized, because you are not like that for me doesn't feel
as icky.
It does,
But and the reality is, like, everything we've talked about, it's because if executed correctly, it does matter. So there's a little bit of selling that we do now for battle games. We have a total of, if we sell everything out, 25 other brands, consumer brands that can buy sponsorships, and we have about 10 B2B slots for like software companies that want to sell to these brands. So it's like 35 spots. So Austin on our team, he's sending out a lot of emails, phone calls. He's working through and trying to build this funnel. And with certainty, when someone starts ghosting him, I'm like, hey, forward me the email. And I'm actually doing it, but it's just because I know for a fact. Then I send the email and copy Austin. I'm like, hey, Jeff, just really want you at the event. And just because it's coming from me, it just, people are weird. And that additional touch from the CEO or even from someone else, like it does work. It does sometimes push it along or smoke the objection out that, the person might not be telling the salesperson.
Yeah, I think that's a good call out. How do you feel about the balance between like being the CEO and you don't want to be like too available, right? Like you're a busy CEO and you have shit to do. And like when it is appropriate for your reps to come to you and ask for a little like extra touch, or when you want to like proactively lean in to help push a deal forward by being present.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if there's a one size fit all answer. Like me personally, I love to get involved, but I'm probably a little bit different because I do like the sales aspect. And yeah, if I'm doing it, that means I'm not doing something else. So it's a balance. I like to be involved, and I would think that there's a lot of leaders that do have sales backgrounds that probably, I would think it might even be underutilized. The willingness of leadership to actually jump in. Like, it's like, I think it's super underutilized because I think in general, it's like, yeah, put me in, coach. Yeah, I still got it. So I want to get in there. And I think that's probably the case for a lot.
I totally agree with you. I was setting you up with that question because I thought we would be on the same page. That I think like the fake forward strategy is gross and icky, but I think what is deeply underutilized is doing a blended play with a member of your ELT, because there is a lot of credibility that comes from having the CEO or chief product officer or whoever it is, send an email out to a prospect and say, no, it is like you specifically that I want at this for this reason. And it goes back to like making people feel special. We all just want to feel seen and heard.
Okay, so what about the far pendulum swing? I don't know if we have an example here where it's the CEO writing the email, but with certainty it's not really the CEO.
I think that feels inauthentic. I think it's easy to see through.
Yeah, I obviously agree.
Yeah, I think the only type of email that should be sent if you are tapping your ELT to send an email is one that you are certain is hyper relevant. And 99.9% of the time, that means that it should have hyper personalization. That is, if not contact specific, at least account specific.
I agree.
Next email.
Okay.
What did they do here? Oh my God, this one sent me.
Oh.
This one. Hey, John, I just want to let you know that I think your time is basically meaningless. And so I would like to bribe you with something that you could easily purchase yourself.
Yeah. Okay. Congrats on shipping 1 million boxes. By the way, if I'm going to give you the Stanley, if you meet with me, like no benefit. I guess they after they offend and they say, you know, you can experience some growth. But we're also on Amazon. So they didn't do any research. Amazon's it's our second largest channel behind our website. And there's so many Amazon tools like that just give you that data. So the data definitely exists. Yeah, it's just really bad.
It's so bad. Bribing, if you have to bribe somebody to take a meeting with you, don't. Like,
Yeah.
I love gifting as a strategy. Like, I think gifting is incredible. I think it's a wonderful way to thank people for their time. I've often used gifting as a way to thank people who didn't ultimately buy from me, because I thank them for spending the time with me. So I am not opposed to gifting at all. I think gifting in like middle of funnel or bottom of funnel could be cool too. Like, I got a gift from a partner last year that was homemade huckleberry hand pies from a woman-owned small business in Montana. And if anybody knows anything about me, like, I am Montana ride or die. I spend so much time talking about and spending my own money with small businesses, with women-owned businesses, like minority veteran-owned businesses. So like, this was like a lot of layers that showed that they knew exactly who I was.
Yeah.
And they didn't ask for anything in return.
Yeah. What a great gift.
What a great gift, right?
Yeah.
So, it's so cool. So I'm not opposed to gifting, but I am opposed to bribing. And like, this is very clearly a bribe. And if your product market fit, if your offering is so bad that the only way you can get people to meet with you is to bribe them, like, you are not selling the right thing to the right people. You need to completely reevaluate your messaging so that it is actually focused on benefits, on outcomes that the reader cares about. Like, you need to start from scratch, because this strategy is not
it. There's a lot of bribing. Like, you see a lot of it. I would say I get, I would say at least two emails, and one with certainty one a week on LinkedIn DMs, like sponsored DMs, where it's $100 gift card or $100 Amazon card, for a 15-minute meeting. Like,
I mean, that's a little bit better than a Stanley mug, at least.
Yeah, but still, like, just leading with that, like, that's the benefit. Like, you're putting your product in the passenger seat and making it about the bribe. It's just, I think you articulated it best. Like, probably need to reevaluate.
Yeah.
If that's how, if you have to lead with the bribe.
Yeah.
I know Randy
devalues the product from the jump. You have immediately devalued the product. Yeah.
Yeah. I know, I see Randy has a question. How often do you notice a mismatch between the name of the sender and the email address? Example, Randy Hauk and the email is marketing at Randy Hauk.
Not that often for me. Like, for really small companies, I will see this because they don't have that many employees, but they need multiple emails. And so you will see what I see a lot more often, because of like the domain health and deliverability strategies organizations need to run right now to stay in the primary inbox, is like Randy at randyhauk.io.ai at try Randy Haug. And so I see a lot of like URL variations so that people can spin up multiple emails, but not as much. What do you see?
About the same. The latter of what you said was what I was going to really hit on. I have another sales email post that I think I'm scheduling for Monday that is somehow I got put in multiple campaigns at the same time from the same person. And but their domains are all different, right? Like they're running like 3 different domains for these series. And it's just, I see a lot of that now because people know that they're going to burn through their domains. So you need secondary and tertiary domains for email sends. So I do see a lot of that.
Or like I have multiple emails. And so I'll have a company with like obviously atrocious CRM hygiene who thinks I am multiple different contacts, right. And they will drop me into the same campaign to like 3 different emails.
Yeah. So one of them, I have the example is that we have a couple past employees that their emails roll to me. They haven't been with us for years, but then they'll dump David, who hasn't been with us in 7 years, and Richard, who hasn't been with us in 6 years. Both of their emails come to me, and they'll put all 3 of us in a campaign, and then I'm just getting
all of them
hammered. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think a real theme that I'm already seeing here, how many emails in, like 7 emails in, is pay for good data.
Yeah.
And then use it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's worth getting the good data.
Yeah, I completely agree. Okay, so you didn't fall for the generous offer of a Stanley mug.
No.
Was this? I just put this one in twice.
No, I think I was just really hammering on the fake forwards. Oh, this was the fake forwards with Mackenzie and McKinsey.
But this one was also crazy. This one, I mean, as you can see, 692 likes. Oops, which is, I mean, that's insane. I've never gotten 692 likes on a post ever, and I'm LinkedIn famous.
Yeah, so this had, I think, about 400,000 or 500,000 impressions. This isn't that old. This is somewhat fresh. This was done in April. Was maybe like middle of April.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, I just pulled these slides like a week ago, and it says it was 1 week, so it was very recent.
Oh yeah, the sales email itself, the fake one was sent on April 15th. So this is super, super fresh. Yeah. McKinsey and Mackenzie.
Yeah. I mean, so like it's the disingenuous, like you call it out here, it's performative. Like it's disingenuous personalization stacked on top of a disingenuous strategy.
Yeah.
Boo. Boo. Hiss boo. And then here's another one of me just ranting about disingenuous personalization in your comments.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and this is another one too.
And so like maybe it would be valuable to take a beat to explain like what type of personalization works, because I know like, because I'm talking to hundreds of sellers every single year, and what they are hearing from the Instagram gurus, from YouTube, from their bosses, from their founders, whatever, is that you have to personalization. And so many within the industry are still banging this drum that every single email needs to be personalized. And the interpretation of that is often that it needs to be contact level personalization, meaning like John, it needs to be personalized to you if you're getting the email. Maybe account level personalization. And I think it's all bullshit. I think very, very, very few emails need any contact level hyper personalization. I'm a big fan of like indexing high on relevance, which feels then personalized because it's so relevant. It feels like I know exactly who I'm speaking to because I've done my research to know that like you are a company in this specific industry, in this segment, at this revenue band, with this many of employees, in this geography, focused on this goal. And so I'm a huge, huge, huge fan of segmenting my territory in a way that allows me to like quote unquote personalize at scale by being hyper relevant instead of having to do contact level personalization. What do you think?
Yeah, so I will say I think both can get you to the right spot. One obvious, what you're describing though is something that actually, you know, scales, while the hyper over the top personalization, it just, for the majority of sellers, you know, as you mentioned before, unless that annual contract value is over 50K or whatever the number is, like it just doesn't scale, right? Unless you have like this very, you know, sub 50 accounts that you're responsible for trying to sell to, or sub 100, and like that's your entire territory. Like it just, you can't do it. While what you're describing, you can. And I'm responding, the stuff that I respond to is in both of those categories. The people that go over the top, mentioning the sales email and the TV show and all of that, you know, I responded to him, you're in the right. But then at the same point, when someone's hitting me with actual relevant stuff that's going on, that's actually, you know, more than likely the things that are keeping me up at night, like my guard comes down too, because it's relevant. I think there's major value in actually delivering some value.
Yeah. I mean, that's it though. Like in both of those examples, they are earning the right to ask for that space in your
same thing, but slightly different way to get there.
Yeah. I think there are so few organizations that really need to be running that type of like key accounts or account-based management program, where, you know, you would have your like 50 accounts or whatever it is, and that's all you are looking to close all year. And so many people are still running this like contact-based hyper personalization. And unfortunately, the result of that is a lot of emails that are like, saw your LinkedIn post about XYZ. And then the next sentence is, so we sell blah, blah, blah. And it's completely unrelated. So the warning for folks is that if you are doing contact level hyper personalization and you want it to get you to the place that John just shared, which is like earning the right to, you know, to a CEO's attention, make sure that the hyper personalization has context within the rest of the email message.
Right. It all has to, you have to bring it all together, or it's just, when it's separated, it still doesn't.
Yeah. Just feels weird. Okay. What do we have next? What do we have next here?
Yeah, I guess this was another one. I'm just so
Why are you getting so many false forwards?
So many false. So clearly the false forward strategy, fake forward strategy really triggers me. And but to the point, like, I'm not sharing all of them. There's a lot of people are doing them.
Brock said that he got a fake forward too.
In that comment section, I added that fake forward I received. Oh yeah.
A month gap is hilarious.
Yeah.
Because if that was real life, like that rep would have been fired.
Like
your CEO.
The CEO sent you that and told you to reach out, and you waited a month?
Like you definitely would have gotten put on a pip, bud. Like 0% chance that that's real.
Nah,
that's hilarious. Brock, did you respond to that email and say, can't wait to talk to your CEO? Will he buy me a Stanley mug?
Does your CEO know that you sat on this for a month?
Oh my God, hilarious. Okay, what else do we have in here?
This one was sent to me from someone else, where they just misspelled her name. Like this is a prospect in the funnel, like deep in the funnel, like they're trying to close them, and they're like misspelling the name, and it seems like a little thing, but like, your comment, what the actual fuck were they trying to accomplish with that email? Sounds like they were watching IG videos from douche canoe sales trainers that will teach negging as a technique. But then the misspelling the name is one thing, but just like the approach here was just insane. Like, I was focused on a higher priority deal.
It's insane.
I would never in a million years even have that in my thought process of something I would say to a prospect that you're closing.
I got an email like this, like, I don't know, maybe 2 months ago. It was somebody that came inbound to me and they wanted to make video content for me.
Okay.
And they actually had like a pretty good portfolio. I clicked on the link because I was in the market for video content. Like they hit the right person at the right time with the right message. And I wrote back and was like, oh, this is actually quite timely because I need this project done. But it wouldn't be for another 6 weeks. And they literally wrote back and they said, okay, never mind then. I'll focus on people that are willing to buy now. And I was like, wait, like, bro, what? Like, I literally said, like, your portfolio looks good. This is
I'm giving you all the buying signs
in 6 weeks. Like,
yeah, all the buying signs, and I'm telling you time frame.
Like, yeah, right? Like I was giving you full transparency that like today was not the right time. 6 weeks is the right time. Like, hit me back then. And they were like, deuces. And so I reported them as spam.
That's
don't fuck about my inbox. Yeah, this one like really, as you can tell by my comment, this one really upset me because I am so passionate about sales as a profession. And I think that we as sellers deserve to feel a lot of respect for the work that we do. Like, I think that we should get to hold ourselves in esteem because we work for a respected profession. And that is obviously not the reality of the situation. And it's because sellers like this sending emails like this. And I see these techniques talked about all the time, mostly on Instagram.
Yeah.
Where they'll like say stuff like, oh, you should go like nag your prospect. And I'm like, what are you? Are you like a freaking like 12-year-old boy? Like trying to like pick on a girl on the playground? Like, what?
Yeah, and so Elizabeth, who I know that forwarded me this, I mean, it went from, they were like probably 85-90% yes. Like the questions that they had sent the week prior that were ghosted were buying questions. Like they were trying to make a decision. They were 100% leaning heavily towards going with these guys. And it was out after this. She's like, what? We're not important to you. Like, it's just a horrible, whoever the IG folks that are teaching this, it's not the move.
Stop. They're the douche canoes, as my comment said.
They're the douche canoes.
Oh my gosh. Okay, we're at time already. We like had so many other fun emails to get to, but we were busy yapping. So that means that we probably should do another one of these sometime. Yeah, this was a blast. Thank you to everybody that took time out of your Friday afternoon to come and laugh with us, but also learn with us. And John, such a pleasure. I'll be in your comments again soon.
Yeah, I'll be in yours.
Okay. Bye, team. Have a great weekend.
Bye.